Hey guys, it's Jonathan from Howard Hospitality Group. Today I am here with the one and only Matt from GalaxyGames843.
What's up, guys?
I got your shirt on today.
I see that.
Sporting the merch. So, but I've been doing this new interview series and I wanted to get you on because you are probably one of the biggest influencers when it comes to full line vending. And you are who we watched when we started to learn about full line vending and getting into the business. So I know in the Discord, I don't know how many people have said you influenced them and you influenced us. And so I have some questions I want to ask you and just to get to know you a little bit better and how you got started and all that kind of stuff. But to start it off, I always do like a break the ice question.
Yeah.
And
so I did watch. I did watch the interview with Extreme Vending. So.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
so you kind of have an idea what okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the break the ice question to start off is, what is your favorite video game or amusement game of all time and why?
So you should already know this because we've talked about it in our live streams. But my favorite video game ever, it's an arcade game from 1982. It is Donkey Kong.
Yeah, the original Donkey Kong.
The original arcade Donkey Kong, not
Donkey Kong Jr.,
not Junior, not 3, not on the Atari 2600, not on the Nintendo. The arcade Donkey Kong, yes.
Nice.
I've got one right outside my door here. I love it.
And it works, right? You got it.
It does. It's actually restored. I restored it back from. I actually found it in a storage unit, and it was converted to a Super Mario Brothers, and I deconverted it back to Donkey Kong.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I wish I had my favorite. My favorite of all time is Gauntlet. And the reason
the original or one of the newer versions?
No, the original. And we had it. It was one of the first video games in our town when I grew up. And it was at our local pizza restaurant. And all my friends and I would go, and it was the only game that you could play 4 players at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was, why we really liked it. Besides a fighting game or something, it was one that you could all, and we would, I don't know how much money we dropped into that, but
so many quarters, right?
And we played for hours, and work as a team, and it was kind of like, it was cool because it was 4 people at the same time. So
and you all had your own designated character, right? Like, no, that's my guy, right?
I was the elf.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, I was the elf, and everybody had, elf needs food badly. Yeah, I used to love that game, and so all of us had, right after school, like we were there, all of us went directly there, and it was like a mission. I mean, we all had to be at a certain time, and we all knew, and it was like you didn't let each other down, and it was a big deal. I mean, we played that. And then, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out shortly after that. And then we basically all went to each other's houses and then only go to the arcade when we wanted to play that game. But
anyway. we lived the same childhood. We're around the same age. So I'm right there with you. NES was like my growing up console.
God, I love that game. I'd love to have one of those. And I know they came out with Legends and other versions of it.
Dark Legacy, all those things, yeah.
Yeah, the original was awesome. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't see them very much pop up at the auctions anymore because I do go to the arcade auctions, and we'll still see like the newer Gauntlet Legends or Dark Legacies, things like that. But the original 4-player, pretty rare these days.
Nice. I'd love. So if anybody has a handle on one of those, let me know because I'd love. I wouldn't mind having Legends or something, but I just love Gauntlet. That game was just awesome. So
for sure.
So tell us your story. Tell us how you got started in vending.
How I got started with vending?
Yes.
So it actually goes back a long way. So basically, I've got a regular job, and I've been working in the call center industry for well over 20 years. I actually started in sales on the phones, and worked my way up through leadership as I progressed. And basically, I was working for a company for almost 20 years, and they transferred me from Ohio to South Carolina because they were closing our Ohio office. And then just 4 years after they transferred us to South Carolina, they closed our South Carolina office and didn't offer us any transfers. Oh. So, they took care of us, though. We got a great severance package, all that good stuff. And I'd been there almost 20 years, so I was very well taken care of. But at that point, I realized I never want to rely on just one form of income. I need to have some multiple income streams going on so that way I'm not relying on just one thing. Because there's a lot of things that are out of your control that can change that you can't do anything about. Hence my case. But having a vending route is something that you control, right? So you are generating that income. Yeah. So basically, after that center closed, I was working kind of temp jobs and different things while I was looking for that next career. And I started building my vending business. And basically, it's funny how it started. So I had been watching videos of all the different vendors. I watched a lot of AFC vending with
Yeah.
Jack Farnsworth. I watched Mike G with Chrome vending. Of
Yeah.
course, Quick Play, Jaime Ibanez, those channels. And I was like, that might be a good thing for me to get into. Plus, I had been doing arcade games for like at least 10 years at that point, where I'd buy games, restore them. Some I'd keep, some I'd sell.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm in these warehouses, I also see used vending machines too. So I kind of already had that technical, I can work on these kind of thing, repairs, and I've already got some connections on where to get some vending machines. And then a buddy of mine knew an owner of a laundromat, and the owner of the laundromat called him because they had, I think either Coke, I think it was Coke they had service with. And they said, Coke is driving us crazy. They never come and fill up the machine. They never come and give us service. We're going to get their machine out of here. Do you guys want to take over the vending service for this location? So it kind of like everything just lined up really easily. So we went out on Facebook Marketplace, found a used Pepsi machine, got it there, and it's that's still our first location. It's still our laundromat location.
Yeah.
That was our number one, and we've had it ever since. Of course, I've upgraded the machine since then, but that's how we got started.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how when some people, they get bad things happen or whatever, you can either take that and roll it into something positive like you did, or you can take it and turn it into, oh, my life sucks and,
Right.
the world's against me and I'm going to, but I mean, the fact that you thought outside the box, because a lot of these owners that we're meeting and the people in our Discord and stuff, they're like us, where they have the entrepreneurial spirit where they're like, you know what, I'm willing to take a little bit of risk to better myself and my life. And I think that that's what's huge about this business, is that it does take a little bit to get started. You know what I mean? You got to put a little bit of money forth to get started, but you can start out really small and build it into something really huge. And you've got people like Quick Play and stuff that have done the YouTube thing and taken their business from just a few candy machines into something so much bigger because they made revenue off of YouTube to grow into this huge thing. And that's just awesome. And so we're just trying to get to the point where we're actually, making a little teeny bit of money on YouTube, but
that's where I'm at, man. Just a little teeny bit.
Yeah, just a teeny bit. But I mean, our business itself, like our machines and like that's, I mean, like yesterday, Amelia and I went out and we hit like 6 boba shops and about an hour from our house, and it was really weird because we went to go do these boba shops, and we actually stopped by this place because I had heard they had those Pokemon cards, those 3-card packs that we've been doing in our machines. Yeah. And somebody told us, the guy at Logan's told us, hey, I went to this place and they've got those there. And I'm like, I can't find them anywhere because they're like on Mercari and eBay for super expensive now. But so I said, well, let's go check it out. So we went in there and I went up to the counter and I said, I'm looking for these Pokemon card packs. And the guy said, oh, yeah, they're right over there. And he said, they're $15 a pack. And I said, whoa, this is for the whole pack. So I think it's 40 packs in a bag.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's the whole bag.
$15 an actual pack.
No. So for the whole bag, which is, they usually, I think they retail, they were like 20 to 30 originally, but so 15 is not bad. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And I go, we need quite a few of them. And he goes, well, what are you doing? And so Amelia said, well, I have my own business. And she said, I do mini claw machines. And he goes, really? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, like the little claw. And she goes, yeah. And he goes, I actually just ordered 2 of those from candymachines.com. And we're like, what? Like,
did you use our link? Right?
Yeah. I go, that's so funny. I go, I wish you would have known, And so we started talking to this super nice guy. And he basically goes, you know what? He goes, I ordered the spaceship one and the little underwater one. And he goes, I'm so excited. But he said, I ordered them with candy claws. And I'm going to do regular candy and Hispanic candy and the other one. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but you do toys, right? And she goes, yeah, I do that and the Pokemon cards and stuff. And he goes, well, would you want to bring a machine in and have one here? And she goes, yeah. She goes, we have one in the car. So and
people are asking you for locations. You're not asking them for locations. That must be nice.
I told her, I looked at her and I go, your luck is just, I wish I had your luck. I mean, she just, I don't know how she does it, but she just won this guy over, and he's like, let's go look at it. So we went out to the car, and I pulled it out, and it's one of those ones from Grant, from AZ Amusements. It's a golden house, and he goes, that is cool. And he goes, I was so excited to get mine. He goes, I've never seen him in person, and he goes, I just kind of seen the videos and stuff. And he goes, well, she goes, have you seen our channel? And he goes, that's you? He goes, I've seen your channel. And he goes, I saw you collecting from Logan's. And she's like, yeah, that was me.
Nice.
And so it was like this whole conversation. He goes, I didn't even put two and two together. And he goes, bring it out, bring it in. And he goes,
Hmm.
let's set it up. And so we brought it in. So she got a location, and we weren't even there for that reason. But for those that want to get started, it's not as hard as you think. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
Definitely not.
about talking to people, and she's very good at it now. I mean, she can tell everything about what she does and how it works. And she
Yeah.
told them about
Yeah.
the 1 in 6 ratio and how, they can win 1 in 6 times. And she's telling them, and I'm just sitting there going, man, you've learned a lot,
Hmm.
and I think that anybody can get started doing this, whether it's because we have full line machines like you too,
Yeah.
and Sam has taken those over, and he is just so excited. So anyways, we get all done, and he goes, how many machines do you have? And she told him, and he goes, how many do you want? She goes, oh, over 100. And I'm like, oh
Right.
my God. I know you're crazy, but that's her, she's just all about it. So it's
Yeah.
great. But no, it's cool to see people like you get started from just an idea, and then now being who you are, not only your presence on YouTube, but the relationships in your business and how it's grown. It's just super cool. I think
For
that's
sure.
what's the best part. So I can't wait till Vegas when I get to meet all these people,
Yeah. It's gonna be a
and it's
blast for sure.
gonna be cool. So all right, so tell us something personal about yourself that maybe the people out there don't know.
It's funny when you asked David that question. I was like, what is my answer for that question going to be? And I don't know what to. So I mean, like, you know, I'm a I'm always like a guy that gets into like different hobbies and different things like that. So that's kind of how I got started on YouTube. I was interested in making videos and editing videos and recording stuff like that. And I was already doing this vending stuff. And I saw, like I said, Jamie Farnsworth and Quick Play and the different groups out there that were already making videos. And I said, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to pick up a video editing as one of my hobbies, because
Yeah.
I've gone through many different hobbies. Arcade games has been one that I've been doing for a long time. And now, of course, the whole YouTube and video editing thing. But one thing that I used to do a lot way back in the day was I used to go around and ride all the new roller coasters when they would open up at different amusement
Oh,
parks.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, though, I never got out to the West Coast. So all those Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farms and the stuff like that, I never got to go to those places. I pretty much stayed on the East Coast, which is where I'm from. So it was just easier to travel up and down the East Coast and ride all the new coasters as they happened. But as I've gotten older and my kids have gotten older, it's just not something that everyone's as interested in doing anymore. So we had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that you need to come and go to Universal Studios. I mean, that would be one that your
Yeah.
kids, because they're a little older like my kids, that they'd really enjoy that. I think that
Well, that's
would be.
actually something we're talking about for this coming year or the year after in Florida with the new Mario
Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's going
pretty
to be a
awesome.
thing. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You'll probably see a video about it in the future. Just FYI.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I don't think, because I've been to a lot of theme parks and stuff, and
Yeah.
mostly the West Coast, and I've been to Disneyland and
Mm.
Legoland and all that kind of stuff. But Universal Studios, I think, it's its own animal. I mean, if you're into movies, I mean, the tour alone, where they tour you around the whole park, and
Hmm.
they were filming that new War of the Worlds movie with Tom Cruise, and they had a full 747, like that scene where they wrecked the plane wreck and all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
was all laid out, and we had to drive by it, and then the houses were smaller, and I don't know what that show was with the women. I can't think of the name of it. Sorry, my brain's not working. But
Mine
it
doesn't
was
work
like,
half the time either.
yeah, well, like the houses were miniature houses, but that's how it was filmed,
Yeah.
and so like they showed us all that and stuff, and the Jaws and all that. But I mean, it's pretty neat. So I definitely recommend it. I think that it's one of those things that you need to go
Yeah. It's on
and
the
see.
agenda for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, excuse me. What do you think your biggest success and your biggest failure is of all time?
So I'm a pretty positive person. I don't know if I could pick out one thing that I would say is a failure, because I always try to take whatever I didn't do well at and change it to make it better.
Right.
As far
I
as
can
success,
tell just by your story, period.
yeah, for sure. As far as success, I mean, that's another thing too. I can't put my finger on just one thing. Obviously, I have a great life. I've got a great family. I've got a lot of hobbies, a lot of things I got my hands into.
Right.
I just think, well, I mean, for example, here on YouTube. So as of right now, this past weekend, we just passed 8,000 subscribers.
Oh my God,
and
awesome.
that's, you know, in the big scheme of things, that's not a lot of subs, right? That's not a huge channel.
Yeah, it is. We're at 600.
Well, okay, but everyone has to start somewhere. I was there a
Right.
couple years ago as well, but like, you know, I'm comparing myself to channels like Quick Play and Jaime Ibanez that are, you know, have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it's like when I first started doing this, I never thought I'd even get 100 subscribers, let alone 1,000, and now here I am. So.
Yeah.
That's probably been my biggest success when it comes to one of my hobbies or something like that. But like I said, as far as failures, I'm going to talk about one vending location in particular.
Okay.
That I thought was going to be amazing. So it was a car place, and it was out on the main street. So that, you know, probably 100,000 cars a day go by this place.
Damn.
And it was right up front, right up by the road, and there was always people waiting. And I thought it was going to be an amazing location. Thought it was going to do great. So I put the machine there. And if you go back into some of my previous videos, earlier in my channel, you know, I was really excited about it. And it turns out it did like $30 a month. It was terrible.
What kind of location was it?
It was a car repair shop. That was right on Main Street, right up front. Like I said, hundreds of thousands of cars drive by it every day. Could see the machine. It was all lit up at night. I thought for sure that would be a great spot, and it was terrible. We ended up moving it to another location, but that was probably my biggest failure as part of the vending business. But like I said, we just moved it.
We had a location like that. That was our very first claw machine location, and it was a I can't think of the name of what it's called, but it basically it's a there's a name for it. We call him the corn man, but basically it's where, you know, he used to have one of those carts, and he would go around and he'd do the hot corn with the butter on it, and then he did the fresh fruit drinks and all that. There's a name. I don't know what. I can't think of the name. I'm sorry. But he opened up his own shop. And it was just slammed, like, with people, like when he first opened.
Yeah.
So we went and asked him, and he was so nice. He's like, yeah, you know, bring it in. And so then we brought it in, and then like about 2 weeks later, we went in, and he didn't speak very good English. And so it was kind of hard to communicate a little bit. But
yeah.
There was a lady next door that did hair. She spoke Spanish, and she was standing there, and she goes, "Oh, he wants to know if you're going to pay him for the electricity." And we said, "Oh, well, you know, tell him it doesn't take a lot, you know, but if he wants us to, we can." And so when it first started, it was doing like $100 a week, and which is great. And so we're like, "Yeah, we'll pay him like $20 a month or whatever. That should cover the electricity." And so he's like, "Okay, that's fine." And so then all of a sudden it started going down and going down and going down, and then all of a sudden, because we didn't have NIAX readers on our machines. Well, I guess
he was unplugging it, wasn't he?
He was unplugging it. And so we didn't know it. And then we went in one day and it was off. And he said, "Oh, well, you know, there's something wrong with the cord." There's a lady there that helped us translate, and she said, "Oh, he said the cord is broken." Well, what he'd been doing, I guess he'd been moving it around when he was cleaning and stuff. And like he had been pinching the cord like under the machine or behind the machine or something, and he actually like broke the cord, you know.
Yeah.
So he said it was sparking. So I told him, Amelia, I said, "Let's just pull it out," because and so then we found out later that he was unplugging it because people had gone in and seen it and it was always off. And so he was unplugging it. But that's how we learned about, you know, NIAX is great because like we had another location that was doing that, and finally went and asked him, and the young girl said, "Yeah, my mom's been unplugging it because she's worried about the power." And I said, "Well, we'll pay you for the power, you know." And she goes, "No, I'll just make sure it's on." And she does. So the girl just keeps it on all the time for us. But because we told her it didn't cost very much, and so it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So what's your favorite product you sell in your machines? What does the best for you, or what's your favorite?
I think just in general, you know, it's going to be the amusement stuff and Pokemon stuff, right? I mean, between the cards, the the plush and the Pokeballs in my game store location, that's obviously what makes probably the most money and what everybody is going after. As far as full line, I mean, drinks are always going to do better than snacks, I think. And probably the thing that does best for me is, of course, energy drinks or Mountain Dew, the caffeinated stuff, right? That's what everybody wants.
Have you tried the Prime drinks? What's his name? The wrestler and the other guy, the fighter guy. They have that Prime. It's called Prime, and it's a new drink they've come out with, and it's selling like you won't believe. Like you can't get it hardly at Sam's Club right now, and they sell it in packs for like $19. And we just ordered 2 packs, so it finally came in stock. But I mean, what's his name? Sam would know his name, but he's the one that told me. He's like, we need to get this. Like,
I'm not even
look
familiar
for
with those. No.
Prime drink, and it's selling like hotcakes, and it's
Really?
just like the newest thing. And I don't know if it's just not out there yet, but it should be. But yeah, that's the newest thing we're gonna try. So we ordered 2 cases. It's supposed to be shipped today or tomorrow to here from Sam's Club, and it's like supposed to be the drink. And Sam's so excited about it.
You'll have to let me know how that goes for you for sure.
Yeah, having a 13-year-old that knows the drinks and stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's called Prime. So
okay.
All right. And then what's your best location that you have? Which one does the best for you?
Everybody knows the answer to that. Everybody knows. It's my game store location.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That's my favorite location. The people there are amazing. Our machines are probably the most popular machines out of all of our machines at that location. It's just, I love going to that location every time. Yeah.
We just ordered Pokeballs because of you. So we just got, and then Kevin from Candy Machines we're basically, he's got it up now, but it's a 2-inch ball machine on the top and then a sticker machine on the bottom. And I can't remember the name of what he called it, but basically we're ordering one of those, and we're gonna have the Pokeballs on the top, and then the bottom is gonna be the Pokemon cards. And so we're gonna make like Pokemon Station at one of our grocery stores. So
that's awesome.
The Pokeballs, I've seen them in several things, but I had never thought about putting them like in a 2-inch ball machine like that. And so thank you for that, because that's gonna help us. I think it's gonna do really well. So
I mean, you see how well they do for me. So absolutely.
Oh man, it's awesome. So what do you see as in vending? What do you see as the next big thing or trending that you think might be trending, or that you think is going to happen in vending? Do you see anything?
Oh man, I don't even know. And I try to stay on top of all that stuff, and that's, I guess, the one good thing too about having kids. I can ask them like, what's all the kids talking about, because that is kind of what we need to do to get our pulse checks in, right? Find out what the kids are going crazy for, or what they want, and like, it's funny, like my daughter was crazy about Pop-Its and different fidget toys and stuff like that. And so finally, when I did order them, I put them in some of my machines, and they just didn't do very well. And I think it's because I waited so long to order.
Oh, because the fad was over, yeah.
Yeah, like I was late to the party. And another thing that always comes to mind when it was before I was in vending, but if I would have been in vending, I would have gotten into these 2 fidget spinners, right? Kind of the same thing. But remember how everybody was crazy about them, and then all of a sudden they weren't.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the next big thing is. I'm trying to figure it out though, for sure.
We right now, what Amelia is super into, or the kids are super into, are the Squishmallows. Yeah. So anything like, they have the little minis. I don't know what they're called. They're called something else, Squishville or Squish something, but they're like the little ones, and then there's the big ones. And Squishmallows right now, like if you go Five Below or whatever, they're selling like crazy at Five Below. Like our local Five Below, they get them in every 2 weeks, and by the first week they're all gone. Yeah. So they're all sold out, and they have a big giant like container of them. So that's kind of seems to be.
I've seen those too. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Five Below is actually a great spot to get prizes for machines and things like that, because everything's very nice looking there, and everything works.
Especially for your prize locker, like we found some good, like they have what are those pop toy, what I'm talking about, the little figures, the what are they called?
Pop figures?
Huh?
Funko Pops?
Yes, like the Funko Pops. They have like little ones of those and stuff, and they had like Star Wars ones and some other things that we got for our little prize lockers, and
for sure
those seem to do pretty good. So, what are your in the vending business? So, who are your favorite people to follow, or who shaped your career the most? Do you think you've already mentioned a couple?
Yeah, I mean,
but now like Farnsworth's not around anymore. He doesn't do it. But like, who do you watch most on your videos if you have downtime? Besides us.
I've been watching the Howard Hospitality Group, and I've been watching Extreme Vending. But the one who kind of shaped things for me the most has been Quick Play. Yeah. I've been working with Eli pretty much on a day-to-day basis for the past, I don't know, probably at least 4 months. And it's so funny when you watch my channel's analytics, it's like it was on a steady incline. But right when I started working directly with Eli, it like jumped up even more, like a faster incline. He's been giving me all kinds of advice on, titles to use, thumbnails to use, how to do this, how to do that. And I'm super grateful for all the advice he's been giving me, because as you can see, I went from, I think,
your videos have gotten so good, and
so much better. Yeah.
It's
great. It's great to
And I
have
mean,
someone to bounce ideas off of, for sure.
yeah, and you've been pumping them out like crazy. I mean, it's just
Well,
awesome.
I've always said consistency is key, so for sure.
We just don't have. I started this new job, and so it's been hard for me to get time to do it. But like we've
Don't
been
tell me about that.
yeah, we've been filming. We've been filming,
Yeah.
and I've got all this stuff, this footage that I just can't get to. So I feel really bad. But these interviews are something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I think that they're a little more relevant. Like it might help more people. And I know we're gonna do one with Eli and Cody. We got them coming up. We've got
Good.
Kevin from Candy Machines. We've got Grant from Easy Amusements. We've got
Nice.
a bunch of people lined up that I think is going to be really cool interviews, because then you get to see kind of a different side of people. Like you see them on camera, but like to actually sit down and talk with somebody is totally different. So they get to know. And I got really good response from doing the one with David. So I think this is going to turn out to be something pretty good.
And I'm certainly looking forward to some of the ones that aren't on YouTube, like Kevin and Grant, maybe to hear more of the business aspect of it. I think that'll be awesome. For sure.
And then I don't even know if people know what they look like. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them, unless they know them on Facebook or something. But a lot of them have probably talked to them on the phone, but don't even know what they look like in person.
Or talk to them in our Discord or on the phone. Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Yeah. So what book, movie, television show, something like that, like has shaped your career or your life the most?
So this is going to be funny. So like I said, I've been in the call center industry, and I started in sales, right? And around the same time I started in sales, a movie was pretty popular. It came out that was kind of also around sales as well. And it's the movie Boiler Room. Do you remember that with Giovanni Ribisi? Right? And Vin Diesel and a couple of those guys. So it was all about selling stocks, but it was kind of the same. I had to have that same mindset, always be closing and working on getting better and getting better at talking to people and being good on the phone, so to speak. So that's kind of shaped my life as to how I want to make sure I'm always kind of being a go-getter and hustling to just make things better, for sure.
I think the thing that's different about you and David, I've learned, is the same way that we hustle. The three of us hustle.
Yeah.
But we're not dirty. You know what I mean? We're like, we are who we are. Like,
yeah, I'm not selling fake stocks like they were.
Right. I mean, like, you talk to a lot of people on the phone or whatever, and they sell you stuff, but they also just want to sell you, and then they don't want to talk to you anymore. But like, some people are real and genuine, and I think that's the big difference between like David, I know Grant's the same way, and Kevin and those guys, and Eli and Cody. I don't know them that well, but they seem super genuine, like real people.
For sure.
And I told you that funny story of, like I thought of how Vegas is going to be, where we're all standing around in a circle, just kind of kicking the ground like some Peanuts characters, we're kind of in our own little worlds, and we do our video stuff, but we're really not super outgoing people like in real life. Like we kind of just keep to ourselves. At least I do. Even though I'm a marketing guy, it's like I don't really like going out in public very much and being in big groups of people and stuff. I really like being home with my family.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, it's going to be fun, but I think it's also going to be a little weird.
And, well, I tell you what, and the worst thing about being out in public is doing this, right? Like talking to a camera and having everyone look at you, right? Like doing that kind of stuff. That's what always like makes it tough for me.
Well, it's embarrassing too, I think.
But so much. Everyone's looking at you funny, right?
And it's funny because for the past, I mean, like I've been filming these videos with Amelia for a while now, and like I've always just been looking at the camera. Like I've never been looking around. And I was at Logan's yesterday, and I was filming her, doing her thing, and I looked around, like everybody was staring at us, and like I never paid attention to that, and I'm like, I feel really weird now and awkward because like I didn't think about it. I was just doing our thing and in my zone, and then I kind of got weird. My hands started sweating, and I'm like,
right,
like all these people are staring at me. But like the manager there at Logan's, he loves Amelia, and so like I turned around and I saw those people, and I saw him, and he's like, and I'm like, cool, and so it was like, it made me feel a little better, like we're not weird, But
well, we're all a little weird, right?
Yeah, totally. But nobody knows our weirdness. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you could choose one superpower, what would it be and why?
So I was laughing at this one too, because it's similar to David's answer, but it's still different. So he said time travel, I think it was.
Yeah, time travel.
I would control time.
Ooh.
Meaning like, so I always say I need 28 hours in a day, not 24, because I'm always on the go. I'm always trying to do something, trying to get something done, right? And I feel like there's not enough hours in the day.
That's great.
Between my regular job, YouTube, vending, and some other things I got going on too that I don't talk about or I don't have on camera. I always feel like I need just a little bit more time in the day in order to accomplish the things I want to get accomplished. And like on the weekends, I try and hit it hard. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, well, I got 1, 2, 3 things done, but there was still like 4 other things I wanted to get done that I didn't get done. And therefore I need more hours in the day. So that's what I would do.
Well, like today, for example, like we were talking about going and collecting and stuff. And here it is, it's noon on Sunday. And, we said we were going to leave the house by 11 and go do our collections and then come home. And then Sam had said he wanted to learn how to drive stick today. So he wants to learn because we have an older, a 77 Mercedes that was my grandma's that he wants to learn how to drive stick on. So I had that plan. And it's like, here it is. It's already noon. We've done, nothing but and I was going to do the interview with you a little later when we got back. But it's like we're still home, but we'll get to it when we get to it. I know what you mean by time. It's tough.
So true. And you never have enough of it.
Right. Exactly. So that's a great superpower. I want that one too.
Yeah, right.
What is one idea that like the experts say in vending or in anything that you disagree with or that you believe that is not always true?
So one thing I see on Facebook all the time, and I think it's kind of what a lot of people think about vending and why they get into vending is because it's going to be 2 words that everyone always says, right? And you know where I'm going with this. It's passive income, right? Yeah. So especially from a full line standpoint, vending is certainly not passive income. There's so much work that goes into it. And that's one thing I try to show on my channel too. I show going shopping for inventory. I've done a couple pre-kitting videos, but I don't really film my pre-kitting very much. Maybe I'll do more of those too. Yeah. But just like there's so much that goes into going and filling the machines and pulling the money out. It's not just passive at all. No. Like far from it. Yeah. And like I see all these news stories. And in fact, there was one I saw. It was like 21-year-old works 6 hours a week and makes $300,000 a year. I'm like, that's total BS. That is so not true. That can't be unless he's got 50 employees that are doing everything for him.
We were joking about that with each other, and it's like, okay, so he says he does this much and he only works this many hours a week, and we're like, that's virtually impossible. Like, there's no way you're gonna make that much money and have that many locations unless you have 30 employees working for you. Are you gonna be able to do that? And then you wouldn't make any money. So it's like that, those drive me nuts too. And I see that, and I think I understand why they do it, because they want people to, to get started in their own business, and they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? They want to inspire people to do what we do. And I get that, but you have to be real. And I think that that's kind of the difference also with our videos too, and David's and all of ours, is that we're real, like the money that we collect is real. The stuff that we do is real, but we also don't just do collection videos. We're doing videos on like, you do a lot more than we do, but Sam, it took him, last week we got a Sam's Club order in, and then I went and picked up some Sam's Club stuff, and he spent 3 hours in the garage just pre-kitting and organizing his inventory and going through his lists and making sure. And so he spent 3 hours before he even left the house to go to the location and stock it and film it and do the stuff that we do. So, there's a lot more work that goes into it than people do. And he's OCD. Like, he's a little bit OCD. Like, he likes his stuff all straight and organized and whatever. But it's his stuff, So
I'm
he takes pride in it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah. So it's like, you really want to make sure that people know that, especially full line, God, it's the worst. As far as time consuming, compared to the other things like candy machines and claw machines are way easier. But you also can make really good money with full line. So it depends on what you want to get into. But yep, you're right. So, how do you deal with rude or unhappy, like, clients or customers or stuff like that? Like, do you have a good story about?
So, I've had people that say, like, they lost money in machines, and usually, I'll just refund them, or I'll give them the product, because that's even better than a refund, because your only cost then is your cost of good at that point. But I had one location. It was a second game store location. And I think we've talked about this in our live streams too, where the owner was a really, really nice guy. We agreed on terms that he was going to get 20% of the sales. I would do everything. I'd supply everything. And when I did my first collection, it was a really, really big collection. Like, the stack was like, the dollar bill acceptor was full. It wouldn't take any more money. And when I did the collection, he saw it. He was like, no, I want 50%. And I said, well, we agreed on 20%. He goes, we never agreed on that. So it was a sour experience right then and there. And of course,
Right.
I'm always professional. I'm never going to be, someone that's going to, raise my voice or get belligerent or anything like that, in which he was doing, and in front of his customers and all the good stuff. And then, from that point on, I dreaded going to that location because I just didn't want to deal with that guy. It was awful. Like I would get anxiety to go collect from my machines. I didn't want to go. I tried to figure out when he wasn't going to be there so I could go collect and only have to work with his employees.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. And then ultimately we did pull our machines from that location, but I don't miss going to that location. And honestly, I'll never step foot in that store ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And for some reason, business owners, I think they just get burnt out or whatever it may be. But it's funny because like we have 3 hotels now, and one of the hotels that we have, there's this manager there, and she's the one that got Amelia in, and Amelia's like brought her flowers and like in the beginning and everything, but she's like super awkward, weird, like when she talks to you and stuff, and like she always wants to hug Amelia and stuff, and like it makes her uncomfortable.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Amelia, every time we pull into a location, she's like, "Oh, our car's here. Like, I gotta go." She's like,
right.
And I'm like, "But she loves you. Like, she thinks you're really good." She's like, "I know, but like, I don't. Like, it makes her super uncomfortable. But it's like, I know the feeling of
better than a hostile situation, right? For sure.
Yeah, so it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. But it's just funny because she's like, "Oh, there's a car," like.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not driving all the way home and coming back to try to see if she's here or not," And she's like, "I know," and I'm like, "All right." So, but luckily she stayed in the back last time, so she didn't come out. But she always, whenever she's there, she always wants to come say hi, and so. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like we had that the corn man was the same deal, Like we always felt weird going in there because we knew it was off or something was wrong, and we pull up and we're like, we should have a lot more money in here than that, and so we couldn't figure it out, but we did finally. But you already did common myth. That was kind of the thing about how much time it takes. What's your favorite part of the business and your least favorite part? What do you like the most?
So my favorite part is obviously kind of interacting with the locations, making money. Obviously, that's probably my favorite part. And if anyone that says anything else, they're lying to you, right?
Right,
right. I mean, that's ultimately why we do it. My least favorite part though has got to be storing all the inventory, right? I mean, so like I said, behind my camera here, I've got boxes of plush for the claw machines. I've got racks of all my full line vending inventory. Like there's so much here, and it just takes up so much space. Like the machines take up my garage. That's one of the reasons why I got the flea market location, so I didn't have to pay for storage. Just so many things like that you don't think about. It takes up so much room. Yeah, that's probably my least favorite part.
Yeah, right now we got a bunch of toys in and stuff, and so like we've got a pretty big garage, but like the whole half of where we usually park one of the cars is full of stuff. I mean, it's just full, and we ended up making Sam a nice area out there for his full line stuff because it does take up a lot of room. I mean,
so much.
Because we're ordering from Sam's Club, and you're always getting a 35 pack of Pepsi or whatever, so you got a lot of product,
Yeah.
And so he's just, he's got his own spot now and he's super happy. But like the whole other half is just toys and like luckily all our machines are out until the other ones come in, so we don't have those in there. But like it's still full of toys and stuff. So I know what you're saying. And then we started, that we got lucky and we have Pepsi that helps us with our full line stuff. And so when we first got started, the machines weren't set up for our credit card readers. They were set up for NIACs, which is a different on the front of the machine and stuff. Yeah. So we have like all these parts and stuff like on the side of the garage.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a bunch of that stuff too. So so you said the favorite part. Okay, so we did that. Okay. And then, what's your favorite scary movie of all time?
Favorite scary movie of all time? Probably the original Saw.
Ooh.
So I used to be a big Saw fan, and I don't know if maybe because it was pushing the envelope or something like that. Mrs. Galaxy Games hates scary movies, and every year I would go see. They used to release one every year on Halloween or like right around Halloween. Yeah. Every year I would go to opening night by myself like a big dork to see the new Saw movie every year.
It's funny you say that because like nobody really knows this about me either, but like Halloween is my favorite holiday, and so I go absolutely. I mean, like the front of our house looks like a haunted house. I mean, it's just insane. Like I've got two giant 12-foot skeletons and a 9-foot spider. And I mean, it's just, you know, and then we always set up like cotton candy and popcorn machine, and like we go nuts for Halloween. And so like that's why I always ask, what's your favorite scary movie? Because like for me, I mean, I grew up, you know, like you did. We're about the same age, and we're watching all the Freddy movies and the Jason movies.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, horror was mainstream then, you know, so it was different. I mean, like you went to the movies to see like a horror movie, which is weird. You know, back in the day, it was like Them or Attack of the 50-Foot Woman or something. But like when we were growing up, it was like chop you up, slash, you know, like.
And what's so funny now, if you go back and watch the original Nightmare on Elm Streets or like Friday the 13th or anything like that, I mean, they are so bad. The effects are so terrible, right?
Yeah,
I mean, but that was great back in the day.
I still love those movies. And it's just, you know, but I mean, even, you know, the idea that somebody could wake up when you're sleep, or you wake up, you're having your dreams and you could die in your sleep. And like, I mean, it was just cool, you know, it was new. It was new to us then. So, but also during that time was when all the Predator movies, you know, and Schwarzenegger movies were coming out and stuff too. So you had all the action. And so, what advice would you give to current business owners or new business owners or people wanting to get into the business that you've learned that you think is, and it could be a few things, it doesn't have to just be one, but like things that you either made a mistake and learned from it, or you would, something that you would, you know, some advice that you'd want to give. Yeah.
I gotcha. All right. So the one thing that I would, my advice to anyone that's either already in the business or getting into the business, or, you know, like I said, the one piece of advice is focus on service, right? So provide amazing, excellent customer service to your locations, to your customers, all that good stuff. That's one thing that you can do, whether you're small or large, that's going to set you apart from the other vendors in your area, right? So like, for example, Coke at my laundromat location, they never came and filled the machine. When it was time for them to remove the machine, it sat there for like probably 2 more months. And they just couldn't get the service that they wanted. So that's, especially somebody starting new, that is one thing that you've got to your advantage. You're small, you're agile, you can get out there within 24 hours and fix a problem or stock a machine or whatever you need to do, because you don't have 500 locations you got to worry about, right? So focus on service, whether you're large or small. That is going to be what is going to set you apart from the rest. And that's always 100%. What I've done. Focus on service.
So when we started doing our collection videos, when we first got started, I remember there was a post on I think it was Facebook or something, and somebody said, you know, like, why are you going to your locations once a week? And like, why are, you know, nobody wants to see those collections. You need to do like month-long collections and stuff. And I wrote in there very nicely, you know, I said, we want to take care of our people. Like, we want to go there and we want to make sure that the people see us, and they're new locations to us. Like, all of ours are still. I mean, you know, I think our oldest one is a little over a year. And we want to make sure that people, you know, that we're taking care of our stuff. And we've acquired accounts just because of that reason. Just because, I mean, the original ones we got, the original full line locations that we got at the dealerships, was because those people weren't fulfilling their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? They weren't taking care of their machines. They weren't, you know, following through. They weren't talking to them. They weren't returning calls. And it's like, it's so easy to just go there once a week and take care of your stuff, you know? And so 100%, like, we always make sure we say hi to the manager, and like, Amelia's really good with people anyways, but like, they know when they look over there and they see our machine's full and it's clean, you know, that they don't have to worry about that. It's one less thing they have to worry about. So for sure.
Plus when you build those relationships with the people at those locations too, it's much more difficult for them to kick you out, right? It's much more difficult for them to make you lose a location.
And you may lose a location because of somebody's buddy's cousin's former roommate wants to put their machine in there or whatever, you know. But I mean, that's going to happen. But you really don't want those locations anyways. You know what I mean? You don't want to fight.
Even if you do, you know, like I said, always be professional. Let them know that if things ever change and they're not happy with the service they're getting with the new vendor, that you're more than happy to come back to.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. What can people expect from you next? What's your next big thing? What do you got going on?
Oh, wow. I mean, so
I don't like to let the cat out of the bag on your stuff. We're pretty good at keeping things in.
I'm just trying to grow both the vending business and the YouTube channel. Working on new content. As you know, I've always got at least 10 videos shot that I need to edit and post.
That's awesome.
Because I go, like I said, I go to my locations is pretty often, especially like the most frequent ones. I'm going every 2 weeks. So like the barber shop, the truck accessory shop, the tire place, that new tire place.
Yeah.
Each of those, I've got 2 videos that are already shot for those locations. So I need to edit those and upload those. So you'll probably see some of those this week. But I've always got, like I said, I'm always trying to think about new content or what can I do different. I incorporated the claw machine repair video recently. So
Very cool, by the way. Yeah,
yeah,
that was
it was
neat because I
awesome.
had no idea how that stuff worked. So
Yeah.
that's
Luckily, it was actually a pretty easy repair. It wasn't very in depth. But so now we're gonna probably focus on finding a location for that machine. So we'll see how that goes. Who knows? More of that kind of stuff is on the way.
yeah. Because like for us, I mean, you know, you had talked about Farnsworth and other people in the meeting. Because like I remember the best thing about watching his videos is like there was no big fluff or anything to him. It was
Yeah,
just like it was a GoPro, like either attached to I can't remember if it was on his head or on his chest.
it was on his head. Yeah, you were half
Yeah,
camera.
and
Yeah.
like he would go like 2 hour long videos of him just but learning. I learned so much just from watching like how he put his chips in
Hmm.
or how, you know, like, and those are the things you don't really know how to do. And when you get started and you go and stock a machine and nothing comes out, and it's like you need to know how to do that stuff. So that's what I like about your channel and your videos is that it's not the same thing ever. It's
Yeah.
always, you know, different stuff, new things, and it teaches me a lot of things, and it teaches people trying to get into the industry a lot. So I appreciate that. That's just
Sure.
awesome.
And
So
I've been trying to get on camera more too, because for a while I was doing all of those same style videos that Jamie Farnsworth was doing, where I just wear a GoPro and stock the machines, and that was
yeah,
it. See me collect the money and stock the machines. But I'm trying to get on camera more. I'm trying to do a little bit more vlog style. We just did our arcade flea market collection video where I
oh
was
nice.
on camera the whole time, and honestly, it was so much more fun. So
It is.
look for more of those videos too.
Yeah, well, and we try to. I don't get on it like she does, but she's kind of the star of the show, anyways, and it's her business. And Sam, same thing. Like he hates being on camera, but he's doing it because he knows it's part of what we do, you know. And now he's like he dresses different and like you know he knows what he's gonna wear and stuff, so he thinks about it before. So I know he's getting a little better about him being on camera, but I know he still doesn't like it that much. But it's embarrassing and weird, you know. So I
So much.
understand. Yeah, it's so much easier not to be on camera, but Amelia's gotten really good at it, so it's good. So any final thoughts you want to leave our viewers with? We're at the end of our interview.
So just a couple things.
Okay.
First and foremost, subscribe to all of our channels: Galaxy Games 843, Extreme Vending, Howard Hospitality Group. Join us in our Discord. And while we're still talking about it, don't forget to register for our mini claw machine giveaway with
Yes.
candymachines.com. So that's
Yep. And I
obviously something super important. On the horizon, just a couple weeks away at this point, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the National Bulk Vending Association Conference and Trade Show. We're
yeah.
all going to get together. We're going to create so much content. It's going to be so much fun. We're finally going to get to meet everyone in person. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. And plus, there might be some other fun stuff too that we won't necessarily be vending related that we'll be doing too. I mean, there's all kinds of restaurants and arcades and different attractions for us to go check out. So maybe you'll see a little bit more vlog style stuff from that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah, and
lots
I
of great
hope
content
so.
on the way. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yay, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Well,
me too.
cool, man. Well, thank you so much for doing the interview with me. I really appreciate it. And
You got it, man. We'll do it again
hopefully
sometime soon.
people see a little different side of you and learned a little bit about who you are. And I think this is super cool. So I appreciate it. So thank you so much.
You got it, man. Anytime.
All right, so everybody. So this is Matt from Galaxy Games 843. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Have a good one, man. Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
bye.
guys.